Good evening. Welcome to the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, and it's 7:30 p.m. If you stand, we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll call this meeting to order. The first item is the consent agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or a council member may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda at that time, prior to council's vote. The mayor will ask if a citizen or council member wishes to have any item removed from the consent agenda for discussion. 1. The approval of the minutes of the work session and regular council meeting held on March 22nd, 2022. The expenditure list for April 12th, 2022, the City Council meeting, and the approval of special events permit. hosted by the Cortez Retail Enhancement Association for a fundraiser for KSJD Radio to be held at Montezuma Park on Thursday, May 12th, 2022, located at the corner of Market Street in Montezuma. Approval of a special events permit to Habitat of Humanity of Montezuma County for a fundraiser event on Friday, April 22nd, 2022 at the Montezuma County Annex, located at 107 North Chestnut Street, Cortez. E, approval of a special event permit to the Cortez Area Chamber of Commerce for an after-hours event on Thursday, April 21st, 2022, on the premises of Wade Agency, LLC, located at 31 West Main Street in Cortez.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask that item C be removed and voted on separately so I can recuse myself. And then I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, to approve the rest of the consent agenda.
Second.
Medina.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a motion to approve the remaining item?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to approve item C from the consent agenda.
Second.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public participation. This is a new series of directives. We have cards outside the council chambers. There's a box and you can fill it out, put your name and address. If any of you haven't filled it out and want to speak tonight, you can pick up your card right outside the agenda office there. Okay. There is no limit to the number of speakers, although public comments will be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes. Speakers may have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. Are there any wishing to speak this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we move on to presentations. Arlena, would you like to introduce the next first presentation?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The first presentation on our list today is the Child Abuse Awareness Month proclamation. It's also kind of Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, and I asked for this to be put on the agenda as a member of the Child Maltreatment Prevention Action Team, which I am on in my other hat with the Health Department. So I just want to help bring awareness to the fact that child abuse is a major issue in our community. According to the Kids Count data from 2019, the child abuse and neglect rate per 1,000 was 18.9 for Montezuma County versus 9.7 for the state. So, and these are substantiated cases. They're not just whether or not a parent chooses to spank their child. This is very, very much substantiated cases. I brought an awareness proclamation to us today. The more aware we are, the more capable we are to prevent child abuse and neglect and child maltreatments. And I do want to add that protecting children is a community responsibility. So I do want to add one more thing. There are 2 more opportunities this month being offered by the Four Corners Child Advocacy Center. One of them is tomorrow, 4/13 from 12 to 1 p.m. It is the Bystanders Protecting Children training. And then there's also another training on the 21st called Talking with Children About Safety, and that is from 12 to 1 p.m. And so with that, I will say again, thank you to everyone, that's all of the council members and staff that have worn blue today. And I will let the mayor read this proclamation for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlena. Very important proclamation. I will read it. Proclamation, whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem that depends on involvement among people throughout the community, and whereas child maltreatment occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope, and whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community. And whereas child abuse and neglect not only directly harms children, but also increases the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems such as heart disease and obesity, and risky behavior such as smoking. And whereas the people of Colorado should become involved in supporting families in raising their children in a safe, nurturing environment. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among social services agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas child maltreatment knows no social or economic boundaries and occurs in every neighborhood in America. Now, therefore, I, Michael J. Levy, Mayor of Cortez, and in such capacity do hereby proclaim the month of April 2022 as Child Abuse Awareness Month in the city of Cortez, and encourage the citizens in this great community to show their care by committing themselves to fighting child abuse and neglect. I will sign this proclamation. Okay, thank you.
And Mayor, can we get a picture? Can we get a picture with council with the proclamation?
Yes, yes.
Can we do that now?
Yes. Lacey, would you like to take the picture?
Oh, he's going to take one. Okay,
Where do you want us?
she's got it.
Okay,
Donna, will you take one for us?
okay.
Take her one for us. So. So Drew told you I wasn't going to be here? No.
I thought I heard it from someplace else. I thought I heard it from you. And
Oh, I would
mis-
never miss that.
Misinterpreted what you, because that's what I was saying. Is something going on? Because she would have missed this.
Especially when it might be my last one.
That's what I'm, if he says something, it's because I said something.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm not worried.
I started the rumor.
It's okay.
And then you were picking a second husband. Who was a pickleball pro.
That's funny. That's funny. No, you're funny. I love it, Mike. I'm gonna miss you.
Okay. All right, next presentation this evening is the National Public Safety Telecommunications Week proclamation. Do we have a representative from the police department wishing to introduce this item? If not, I can, I'll just read the proclamation. Go ahead. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is a proclamation for the National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, April 10th to the 16th, 2022. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Cortez Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunications are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunications are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunications are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Cortez Communication Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and the treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in this past year. Therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Cortez declares the week of April 10th through 16th, 2022 to be the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Cortez, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. Signed this 12th day of April 2022. Mayor Michael J. Levy, City of Cortez, State of Colorado. Okay, our extreme thanks to the firefighters and police officers and all the emergency people in our city and county. Thank you very much. We appreciate all you've done and keep up the good work. Thank you. Okay, the third proclamation today is the Arbor Day proclamation. We have a representative for the Arbor Day presentation. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Hello.
It's Marosa Diamond. I'm the Recreation Supervisor for the Parks and Recreation Department with the City of Cortez. We host Arbor Day every year. We are actually going on our 30th year as a Tree City USA town or city, and which is pretty exciting. We work with fourth graders in our community, so we've invited all of the schools, Kiva, Louis Ariola, Pleasant View, Mesa, Kemper, and Bunau, which are all RE1 district schools or associated with RE1 district. We've also invited Dolores and Mancos, which is something we've done in the past as well. Arbor Day is scheduled for April 28th. We have a series of events. We have a couple of different discussions, and we actually do a poster contest with the students and award prizes. Osprey Packs usually donates several packs for us, and we give those as first place prizes out to the kids. Students also get tree saplings to take home with them and plant. One of Roman Jefferson, who is on our Parks Rec and Forestry Advisory Board, It helps do a lesson on planting usually, and so it's a great lesson for the kids, and it's just a fun afternoon. So we appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of businesses, areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas Cortez has been recognized as a Tree City, USA by National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now, therefore, I, Mike Levy, Mayor of the City of Cortez, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 28th, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Cortez, and I urge all citizens to support efforts to care for our trees and woodlands and to support our city's community forestry programs. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Dated this 12th day of April 2022. And I'll sign the proclamation. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Orly, you want to announce it? Okay, so that brings us to the next item on the agenda is new business. The first item is the award a sole source contract to CEM Sales and Service to replace splash pad controller on the outdoor municipal pool. Creighton Wright, City Parks and Rec Director. Good evening, Creighton.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the audience. I've been here now, it's going on 3 months, but I continue to be awed at the amenities and facilities that we have available to our residents through our Parks and Recreation Department. One such amenity is the outdoor pool, just down the road here. It has the opportunity to both have a 25-yard competitive course as well as a 50-meter Olympic course, 2 water slides, some covered shade shelters, some little grassy areas, and a splash pad, which is what I'm here to talk to you about now. Splash pad has some dumping buckets and some ground sprays that give the kids opportunities to get it wet and cool off in the hot summer sun without having to worry about being submerged in the full pool. We have a problem, though, with the splash pad, and that is approximately 2 years ago, the controller fried out. It was corroded. After our staff inspected it, they found that it had shorted out, and it hasn't been functioning and operating for 2 years now. We did budget this year to replace the controller in the amount of $14,000. Our bid that I'll talk about in a second is a little bit more than that, and any overage can be absorbed within that line item. We do have a vendor that can replace this controller. It is CEM Sales and Service. They're the local rep from the manufacturer. They supplied the original controller and completed the initial calibration of the controller and the valves that operate the sprays and the buckets. CEM is intimately familiar with the intricacies of our splash pad. Because of CEM's unique experience with our system, I'm requesting for you tonight to consider a direct contract with CEM as a sole source vendor. CEM has reviewed and accepted our contract terms. Their actual cost proposal is attached to the memo as attachment 1. Staff has reviewed their bid and feels that their estimate or their bid is reasonable and responsible. At this point, I'm recommending to award a sole source contract to CEM Sales and Service to replace the splash pad controller at the Cortez Outdoor Municipal Pool in the amount of $14,754. At council's pleasure, I'm open to take any questions that you may have about this item.
Is there a warranty associated with the new controller?
There is a warranty, and I don't know it off the top of my head. I will have to research that and get back to you if necessary.
That'd be fine. And I just wanted to make sure that has the staff or is the contractor going to be doing work to make sure that whatever caused the original short and corrosion doesn't repeat itself?
Yes, when we did the inspection and found the original issue, it was pretty clear what caused the problem. It was an issue within the room. We stored some chemicals that we shouldn't have stored in there.
Okay, thank you.
Creighton, I have a really quick question. Is CEM who we purchased the original splash pad and all the things from before, or are they just the local vendor?
So they are a local vendor. So the way that the purchase and the installation of the equipment works is they generally work with a local subcontractor in which they will then sub. So it's actually considered a Vortex is the name of the actual equipment. It's a national supplier. They supply the actual splash pad equipment. They will then contract with say a concrete contractor or a construction contractor. So I don't know if CEM probably wasn't the prime when it was originally installed, but I know that they subbed because they were original provider. I'll follow up with the warranty information for you.
I'll make a motion to award a sole source contract to CEM Sales and Service to replace the splash pad controller on the Cortez Outdoor Municipal Pool in the amount of $14,754.
Second.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to award a construction contract to install starting blocks at the Cortez Municipal Outdoor Pool. Creighton Wright, Parks and Rec Director again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So again, talking about the outdoor pool, as I mentioned, it has a whole host of features available to our residents. I'm specifically going to be discussing the competitive aspects of the pool now. The original pool had starting blocks installed in it that over time have expended their useful life. If you can think about starting a competitive swim, getting up on a starting block, getting ready to go, you get the take your marks, and that starting block wobbles a little bit. Well, that's the situation we have with our starting blocks. They're no longer true in the ground, so we are in need of replacing them. We, the city, partners with the Cortez Water Dragons as our organized swim team partner. They provide the recreational and competitive swim program here in Cortez. They host one annual swim meet a year. It's in the first weekend in June at our outdoor pool. And they, from time to time, also have the opportunity to host an end of season meet, the state championship meet, which is in the first week in August. This year, the Cortez Water Dragons are hosting both, their annual meet in June as well as the state championship meet in August. So I already mentioned the starting blocks are essential in order to have the competitive meet. Let's see. We entered into an agreement earlier this year whereby the Cortez Water Dragons purchases, installs, maintains, and donates the starting blocks to the city. That agreement is included in the memo as attachment 1. The Water Dragons have already fundraised for construction plans and specifications, which is included as attachment 2 to the memo. We used those to create the bid document that has already been sent out to the city to gain, or set out to gain bids. The Water Dragons were very fortunate in that they received a grant to purchase the actual physical blocks already. As far as the installation goes, we have, as a part of the agreement that I mentioned, agreed to split the demolition and installation cost of the starting blocks up to a total contribution of the city up to $5,000. We did anticipate this expense in our budget. It's at $10,000, and you'll hear a second when I read the bid that it actually came in a little bit lower than what we expected. We did put out a bid request on March 23rd. Bids were opened on April 5th. The pre-bid walkthrough occurred, and we had 3 contractors that attended. One bid was received by B&B Concrete in the amount of $9,208. We have reviewed the contractor's bid and feel it is responsive and responsible. At this point, I recommend awarding the construction contract to install the starting blocks of the Cortez Outdoor Municipal Pool to B&B Concrete in the amount of $9,208. Council, at your pleasure, I do have a member of the Cortez Water Dragons board, Mr. Bill Marty, is vice president, and he's in the audience should you have any questions specifically for the Water Dragons. So if you have any questions, I'll welcome those now.
My only question was just about the mechanism of, are the Cortez Water Dragons going to write a check for the additional portion since we're going to be approving the 9208 today?
Mr. Dobry, yes, that is correct. The city is going to be effectively upfronting the entire expense, and then the Water Dragons are going to be reimbursing for their half.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thanks. I think that's a really good partnership with the Cortez Water Dragons, and we appreciate what you do. Thank you.
We have one of our youngest master swimmers here. And we very much appreciate it. We have about 80 kids swimming now in the afternoon, and then there are 10 in the master's program in the morning, and at this point, we don't anticipate anything but growth. So, and then since we are hosting the state meet, it's absolutely essential that we get starting up. So we appreciate it.
Can I ask, like, what does maintenance look like for the starting blocks?
So Councilmember Yazzie, maintenance is pretty simple. They're stainless steel blocks. Really, we have to say they're responsible for maintenance just in the event that something happens, that it's really on the swim team to be responsible for it. But really, they're pretty bulletproof. There's not much that can be done. I will take that back. There are caps that we need to put over the anchors on the deck to ensure that water doesn't sit in them in the winter. So that would be the one point of maintenance that we have to do.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve a construction contract to install starting blocks at the Cortez Outdoor Municipal Pool to B&B Concrete in the amount of $9,208.
Second.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you. Great.
Thank you very much, Council.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is ordinance number 1299, Series 2022. Presenter Andy Brock, Assistant Chief of Police. Good evening, Andy. Good
This
evening.
is supposed, there we go. Council and Mayor, I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come before you. The Cortez Police Department is asking the council to approve a lease agreement with John Elway Chevrolet for 6 Chevy Tahoes. That includes the upfits in those vehicles. The city anticipating revenue shortages when COVID hit in 2020 and 2021, we weren't allowed to purchase vehicles. In 2022, we had 3 ordered, and the company that we ordered them from canceled our order. So we haven't received vehicles in quite a while. We're currently unable to provide a vehicle for each officer, so some of their vehicles are running 24/7. We have an older fleet. I believe 40% of the fleet is over 60,000 miles. 20% of those are over 80,000. That doesn't include the trip car and the animal control car and the evidence van, and they're average over 100,000. You know what? Police cars don't age really well, and we end up with some problems. We've had 2 vehicles. One, worst case scenarios, we had 1 truck that has been out for 7 months now and is still out of service. We have another one that was out for 3 months before we got it back. Several vehicles are out for days and weeks at a time. It just takes time to get repairs done. Repairs are done at our local dealerships here. They're done in Farmington and in Durango and with our city shop. And I think maybe it's just a volume thing that nothing's done very quickly. Because of the high mileage, we believe that in 2023 we're going to need at least 6 vehicles, and by 2024 we'll need 13 vehicles altogether, just to kind of keep up. Right now we're allotted $137,000 a year to purchase vehicles. That gets us 3 to 4 vehicles. On top of that, we have $10,000 to $28,000 to upfit those vehicles. The staff that worked on this has had prior experience with government leasing equipment. They've sought input from other agencies that are currently leasing vehicles. They received quotes from financing and leasing companies, and you have all of those in your packet. It's noted that Kansas State Bank came in lowest on the lease, on the quote at 2.89, and they said they would hold that, they'd lock that number in, even though we're not going to receive vehicles until later in 2023. Last year, the police department repair cost to the city shop alone was $87,000. Now, some of that repair is regular maintenance, tires, oil changes, and things like that, and that's not going to go down. But some of the other repairs were quite costly due to, we believe, just an aging fleet. On the lease, there's no mileage restrictions or use restrictions in that agreement. When you compare the annual lease payments to an upfront cost of an outright purchase of vehicles, along with the added repair cost because of our aging fleet, we believe that the lease will provide the vehicles that we need right now and show substantial savings each and every year. The staff recommends that City Council will approve the first reading of Ordinance 1299, Series 2022, and set the public hearing for April 26, 2022. Have you got any questions?
Andy, how long would this lease agreement be? How many years?
It looked like they recommended a 4-year lease.
Okay. My concern is today at the Board of County Commissioners meeting, their fleet is a lease program, and they're having a difficulty getting vehicles through that avenue as well, where they're proposing to go straight to the dealers here and just buy what's on the lot for the price that it's selling. So it sounds like, I'm just, if we're locked into this, how can we guarantee that we'll still get vehicles?
I don't know that we can guarantee. We've talked to them, and they said they do about 600 vehicles. And they said the larger agencies are going to ask for the lion's share, but what they put at the top of the list are the smaller agencies, the people that need 3 vehicles and 6 vehicles. They get their vehicles first, and then the large agencies, Denver, gets what's left, which is still substantial, but they say they try to take care of the smaller agencies first.
Okay, that's good to know.
Can I make sure I understand this? So the request here today is 220,000 over what we normally allot for vehicle purchase?
Correct. Instead of getting 3 vehicles, we'll be, and that doesn't cover, that isn't, you're counting the 135,000, are you counting the upfit cost also?
I was just looking at so this one does include upfit, the 358,000.
Okay. So yeah, we are paying more up, it isn't more initially because we're paying it over 4 years. So you're taking that 300 and something thousand and you're basically cutting that into a 4-year program. But we're getting 6 vehicles the first year.
Okay, so it's a 4-year contract?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So the vehicles that will be replaced, those will probably go to auction like we do with other vehicles within the city?
Typically, there'll be a couple vehicles that will try to, it's something that has 80,000 miles that's not in too bad a shape. Maybe we'll move that into the evidence department and get rid of the van, but we'll get rid of vehicles, yes. At the end of this lease program, we have the option of doing just about anything we want with the vehicles. We keep them, we can repurpose them into the city fleet, we can repurpose them or to other departments that need, smaller departments that need vehicles. Thank you.
Motion on this item, please.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve first reading of ordinance number 1299, Series 2022, approving built year agreement with Kansas State Bank, government obligation contract with attachments, and vehicle lease, and set for public hearing on April 26, 2022.
Second.
Rainey.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Leahy.
Thank you. Covered our ordinances. City Council committee reports. There's no report for the workshop because there was no workshop this morning. Are there any reports from the council committees?
No.
See, I just want to bring this one item. We had a group from the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women meet at City Hall last week. It's a group of volunteers that had come through Cortez several weeks ago to bring attention to the murdered and missing Indigenous women in this area specifically and throughout the country in general. They met with the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women group met with myself and some of the council members and representatives from the city and local area and discussed items that can be used to help their situation and provide assistance in their endeavors. It's a very complicated and neglected service. So I just wanted to bring this to the attention. The city will continue to cooperate with these groups and do what we can in the future. All right. Let's see. Are there any other public participation requests? Seeing none, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you all.